melted metal. What? Shani, aka Total Makeup Junkie 101. So today I have a slightly overdue review and lip swatch video on the relatively new Too Faced Melted Metal Liquefied Metallic Lipstick. These released about a month or so ago, so they're not brand new, but you will find them at your local Sephora store or Ulta store in the newer Too Faced section. You guys know my over the moon absolute obsession with the original Too Faced melted liquid lipsticks. These are some of my all-time favorite lip products, not just liquid lipsticks, but just all-time favorite lip products. They are a very comfortable, long-wearing liquid lipstick. They do dry down to like a satin finish. They're not the, you know, liquid to completely matte or transfer-proof finish. So because of that, these don't flake off your lips and they're just super comfortable lip products to wear. So of course, because I always rave about these and I love these to death, and I think I own the entire melted lipstick collection, of course I had to check out the Too Faced Melted Metal collection. Now let me just start off by saying, although the packaging on these two different formulas is pretty much the same, you could very easily mistake one formula for the other in the store. The melted metal formula is very different than the original melted formula. I think in that sense, Too Faced was a little sneaky to put them in the same tube and kind of market them very similarly to one another, because I don't view them as the same or even similar. The idea behind the melted metal line is that they're supposed to be essentially almost the same formula as the original melted lipsticks, but none of the original melted lipsticks had any sort of shimmer or any sort of glitter, and that's where the melted metal lipsticks come in. These are supposed to be a very sparkly, shimmery, metallic version of the original melted. Now Too Faced did release 8 different shades in their line, and of course I have all 8 to show you guys today, and I will be doing individual reviews and lip swatches a little bit later in the video. But the reason I wanted to really touch on the differences between these two is because I don't want you guys going into the melted metal line thinking they're going to be the same as the original melted, just with shimmer, because they're not. Now Too Faced did remove the words long wear off of the melted metal formula. If you guys can see on the original melted, it does say down here that it is a long wear liquid lipstick, and on this one it just says liquefied metallic lipstick. But do keep in mind that I'm not docking off any points for this formula because it doesn't wear as long as the original melted. I knew that going into it. Too Faced makes that very clear. Where I dock this off some points is the fact that these don't seem to apply like a liquid lipstick to me. They seem to be more of a lip gloss, and although they're not super glossy as you wear them throughout the day, they definitely go on a lot thinner than the original melted. These go on really thick and opaque, almost like a super pigmented cream. These go on more of like a gel texture. They're a lot thinner in consistency than the original melted. Because they are a thinner texture as well, you're not going to get full pigmentation in one swipe. I found that I had to build up all of these swatches with at least 2, sometimes even 3 coats of product. And because these are, once again, a thinner texture, building up the coats doesn't make it feel thick or sticky or anything like that on the lips. They are still a very thin, lightweight, non-sticky texture. Another thing I want to point out is the lighter shades definitely seem to be a lot more metallic. You can see that metallic shimmer a lot more prominently in the lighter shades than you can in the darker shades. That's probably because the pigmentation and the darker colors kind of overwhelm the shimmer a little bit, so the shimmer doesn't pop as clearly as it does with the lighter shades, but that's just something to keep in mind. As I go through each individual color, I will definitely let you guys know which ones are more metallic than others and which ones are more pigmented than others. So if you guys are interested in seeing all 8 of them swatched on my lips as well as up close swatches on my arm, keep watching. This first shade on my lips is Melted Metallic Peony, and this is one of the shades that they actually have in their permanent melted line, just obviously not the metallic version. Melted Peony is a permanent shade, and I would say this one seems to be a little bit lighter than the original Melted Peony, and I think that's because of the shimmer in this one. It is a light to medium, but more on the light side, very, very metallic pink. This one surprisingly doesn't look bad on my skin tone, even though it is kind of a light frosty pink. I don't hate it on me. Next shade on my lips is Melted Metallic Bunny, and this is a very, very light but still bright blue toned Barbie doll pink color. This is definitely a shade I didn't think would work on my skin tone, but surprisingly it doesn't look too bad. It definitely has a lot of frost in it, and I think the reason this one can still work on a tan skin tone is because it's not super pigmented. I actually built it up with 2 layers on my lips right now, and you can still see some translucency to it, so it's not like a super opaque color, which is why it can definitely work for a variety of skin tones. This next shade on my lips is Melted Metallic Debutante, and this is probably the most unique shade out of this entire collection. It is a very metallic peachy rose gold color. This is definitely a shade I didn't think would work as a lip color until I tried it on. I definitely think it works a lot better on your lips than you would think. Now do keep in mind this shade does show a lot of that metallic finish because it is a lighter color, but it's very unique, and I think this one would actually work on a lot of different skin tones because it does have kind of a peachy base to it. This next shade is Melted Metallic Tutu, and this one is a medium bright corally pink shade. I would say this is the most true corally pink that they offer in this Melted Metallic collection. But because this shade isn't too light like the last 3 I've showed you, nor is it super deep or dark like the next couple I'm going to show, this one kind of walks that line of definitely being metallic but not as obvious of a metallic as the last 3. This next shade on my lips is Melted Metallic Macaron, or Macaroon. It doesn't have 2 O's, so I think it's Macaron. This is a very beautiful, bright, punchy, hot pink. This pink doesn't have too much blue in it, so it doesn't lean like a Barbie pink. It looks more like a very bright, like, I don't know, like a fuchsia pink. Now that we're getting into the darker shades, this one is one that doesn't show the metallic finish as clearly. You can definitely tell it's not a full cream, like there's something different about it, there's some nuances in it, but it doesn't just scream from across the room, hey, I'm wearing a frosty lip. This next shade on my lips is Melted Metallic Dream House. Now this one I would say is the most deceiving looking one from the packaging. I thought this was going to be much more purple, but when I put it on my lips, it's actually a hot fuchsia pink with a little bit of purple shimmer in it. Now because once again this is one of the darker ones, the glitter and shimmer doesn't shine as obviously as the lighter shades. I will say I'm a little disappointed in this shade because I was expecting more of a purple based on the look of the outer packaging, but it's more of a hot fuchsia pink. This next shade on my lips is Melted Metallic Violet, and this is another shade that they do have in their original permanent melted lipstick line, and I will say that this one definitely seems to be less vibrant and less purple, and that once again is probably because of the slight shimmer it has. I will say that this is one of the least shimmery, or one of the least obviously shimmery shades in this entire collection. The shimmer definitely doesn't shine through on on this one quite as much as any of the other ones. So if you were expecting a very metallic finish out of this, you definitely won't get it. It just looks more like a jelly, slightly sheer, translucent, like jello-y look on the lips. And the last shade in the collection is Melted Metallic Jelly. Now this one is of course the darkest and my favorite in the entire collection. It is a very unique cross between a hot pink and like a grape purple. And this one has a beautiful formula. It is so pigmented. This one definitely is the most opaque out of all of the entire collection. This one goes on super smooth, and you can see the metallic finish of this one just a little bit. It's not as subdued as the last one I showed you, Melted Metallic Violet, but it's not as crazy metallic as, you know, some of the lighter shades in the collection. So it's a perfect cross. You can see the shimmer, but not too much. It's so opaque. It's so beautiful. It's not patchy. I love this shade. I hope those lip swatches were helpful to you guys. I really do them to help you guys out and to give you guys an idea of what these lip products look like on my lips and on my skin tone. Now do keep in mind, because these are slightly sheerer lip products, they will definitely look different on your lips if you are much lighter than me or much deeper than me. Now, if you guys are familiar with the original Melted tube, the Melted Metal lipsticks come in the exact same packaging. It is kind of a plastic squeezy tube applicator, and the actual applicator is a really nice felt tip applicator. It makes it really easy for you to squeeze product out and to get it all over your lips without product slipping and sliding everywhere. Now, I will say one thing I was really worried about with these is because the texture is much thinner than the original Melted. I don't have a problem with the original Melted formula bleeding on my lips. I was worried about the Melted Metal though, because these are thinner and you do have to put on quite a few layers in order to get the opaque color. I was worried about them bleeding, but I haven't really found any bleeding issues with any of these Melted Metal formulas. Now these definitely aren't long wearing lip products. I can get about 2 to 4 hours of wear depending on the shade. The lighter shades definitely fade after 2.5 hours, but the deeper shades I can get almost 4 hours of wear out of. Now do keep in mind that these do not stain the lips. Even the darker and brighter shades, I have found absolutely no staining quality in them. So that's something that definitely hurts the longevity of the product on your lips. You will definitely feel a need to reapply after a couple hours, especially if you're eating or drinking, because these aren't sticky. They definitely don't last as long, even as long as a sticky lip gloss. So overall, these are very comfortable products on the lips because they don't provide any sort of tackiness or anything like that. They do give a good amount of color, especially if you build them up, and I think the colors are very beautiful. I think the shimmer is very beautiful. I think they're perfect for the summertime if you're looking for something to wear by the pool or to the beach, to give you a pop of color on the lips without being a straight up, really opaque lipstick. And these also fade very gracefully, very evenly. I haven't found them to fade awkwardly. So I would definitely put these more in the category of a lightweight, very non-sticky lip gloss, more than a full coverage lip cream like the original Melteds are. Now, as far as my favorite shades, I really only had 2 shades that were a true standout to me, but these are 2 shades that I would highly recommend, and they're very unique to my lip product collection, which is why I love them. The first one is Melted Metallic Debutante. This is that rose gold, peachy gold, very shimmery color. It's one that when you swatch it, you may look at it and be like, ooh, I don't know about this. I don't know how it's gonna look on my lips. But once you get it onto your lips, it's really beautiful. And the other shade I really love is Melted Metallic Jelly. This is the darkest shade. It's the most opaque, the most pigmented. It's not patchy, and it's such a beautiful jelly looking lip gloss on the lips. So that is pretty much it. That wraps up my thoughts on the new Too Faced Melted Metal liquid lipsticks. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have had a chance to check out these lipsticks and what you think of the formula. I was definitely kind of shocked at how different these are to the original Melted, because I love the original melted. I don't think anything can take the place of them. And these melted metal lipsticks definitely do not take the place of the original melted liquid lipsticks, but they are a fun additional new lip product to the market, and I'm happy about that. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys on my next video on Thursday. I'll see you then. Bye! Most beautiful metallic goldy bronze. Get them in essentially the little blush pans. You pick them up individually and then you purchase